Well, good morning, Lancelot. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing well thus far, giving thanks.
That's good. That's good. The last time you were here, you were my very first Instagram live guest. You were so generous to grant me this very spontaneous interview, and it was going so well that we only had a very quick chat. It was probably 30 minutes or so, and we got interrupted. So I wanted to have you back
Yes,
so that we could talk more and a little bit more in detail about the industry, which is very dear to me. And I really think it's something that we need to go in depth a little bit more. So can you tell us a little bit more? Can you introduce yourself to the audience and tell me, how did you get into aquarium fish farming?
all right. So my name is Lancelot Douglas, and well, I actually got into it via being an hobbyist. So therefore, I've been always had my aquariums. I've been always keeping fish. But it was in the early 2000s that I decided that I wanted to take it a little bit more further. This interest and this enthusiasm that I had was helped by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, where they were doing some ornamental fish training program at that moment. So it was there that I got involved in the whole aspect of the farming aspect, the breeding and rearing aspect of ornamental fish. So I just used to basically keep fishes all along. So usually I didn't know when the fish was breeding. I did not know what was happening. So this actually sparked my interest to know more, and thus it was ably assisted through the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. So I'm just a hobbyist, actually currently a practicing small farmer. So that's Lancelot in totality where fish farming is actually concerned. But originally, I'm a graphic artist.
Oh,
That's
really?
basically what I do. All right.
Oh, so hence the
Yes.
YouTubes, because that's how I found you on YouTube, and you had your
Right.
logo and everything going, and starting to give some of your
Right.
about videos about what you're doing. Oh, that's interesting.
Right. So graphic art is my first love. That's my day-to-day job. But I've been always doing ornamental fish. So after I've actually finished working, I usually come home at night, call it 7 p.m. and I'll be there actually doing actually fish actually between 7 and 12 p.m. in the
Wow.
morning. Usually
No.
just be there with the fishes, cleaning actually tanks, looking after them after I actually come home from my day-to-day work.
So what are your specialties? What fish do you breed
All
or
right,
breed?
actually currently I breed actually gold fishes. I breed red caps in actually particular. I used to breed they actually say comets and the blackmore actually, but currently I don't have any brood stock in actually those. So actually what I have are red caps currently. So I breed red caps, coys and actually fighters actually currently. I have also some cichlids as well. I have some Jack Dempsey's as well, which I'm actually breeding actually currently. But since actually COVID, I've basically is very actually stagnant and there is no movement. There is not much movement within the market currently.
Okay, okay. So that was one of my questions. How has COVID affected the industry? So currently,
It has greatly have a great impact on what we are doing currently, because the market is not moving. The market is basically stagnant, because all of what we actually produce is actually consumed locally. It's actually basically sold on the local market, right? So therefore, when you look at what is happening, a person's actually income are shrinked. A lot of persons are not able to. So it's therefore you realize it's a ripple effect, and therefore the farmer will have a lot of actually stock on him, and it's not moving. I had quite a number of actually fighters. I had over 1,000 fighters, and I had to just literally give away some, just actually give it away. In this reference actually, because the market just had no actual room, no actual space for it. So these are actually some of the challenges since actually COVID that has actually affected us farmers.
And what was it previously? What percentage was local, and was there an export market before COVID?
Well, not where I am actually concerned. I have never participated in the export market, actually, because where it actually concerned is Jamaicans. It is like it is a top secret where exporting is actually concerned. There are a lot of small farmers, and actually one of the things that I've learned over the period of time is that I'm in the business is actually that one single actually small farmer or even a large farmer would be hard to actually consistently supply an overseas market.
Right.
Thus, you will have to be in a community of individuals, which is actually supplying the market on a consistent basis. And this is one of the things that I've learned over a period of time. So you have a number of individuals who are not willing to peer or to group or to be a part of a actually body that will go forth on actually supplying the overseas market consistently. So you have groups actually that are trying actually to do it. And actually, I don't know how successful they are with it continuously, but I know that there are individuals who export. But where small farmers are actually concerned, they actually tend actually to shy away and don't want to engage us smaller farmers into helping them supplying that overseas market. And actually, that's actually one of the challenges. And I don't really see particular to Jamaica only. It is like
it's a Caribbean
it's actually just an industry. It is just a Caribbean thing, right?
Absolutely.
You know?
I had a conversation previously with Dr. Amina Moss, and she was talking about the same thing in the Bahamas, where it's very hard, the secrecy. We've got to try to figure out how to dismantle the secrecy and get a community to work together for the sake of the industry. But what I wanted to know was, I know Jamaica was traditionally hobbyist, right? There were so many people doing pet fish as a hobby for years, right? That's how it kind of got where small farmers. So at what point did it become, people think that it could actually become a business? Was it something that was recent or the last 10 years? And can Jamaica, can it be viable as a business for Jamaicans, do you think?
It is extremely viable for actually Jamaicans. It is actually one of the greatest markets for Jamaica. Based on where we are geographically actually positioned actually to the US market versus actually Singapore or actually China, some of the larger actually persons who actually basically dominated that market. We are basically positioned and our advantage is much better. Our climatic actually conditions are also excellent as well. And these are actually some of the things that actually put us in front of others. So is it therefore, yes, it is a viable market. I think we can make tremendous impact in that market. The issue is that we have to get private sector, government, and also to individuals to work together to impact this area. Because actually one of the things, our whole idea of exporting, all the red tapes you have to go through as a single actually small farmer, you will not be able to actually basically finance that entire process. Right. Thus, if you're within a community, it actually would be shared. Thus, you will be better able to participate. So you say, therefore, we have to get a number of folks buying into the whole idea of impacting the market where export is concerned.
Can you give me some of the examples of the red tape, for instance? What kind of certificates do you need? Do you need from the vet office? Do you need, what certificates do you need to actually get it onto a plane, past customs, to be shipped? Like, so what are some of the red tape that you have to go through for that to happen?
All right, actually, one of the things is actually that from the veterinary division, right? Months actually before, they would have to visit your farm and actually taking actually samples of your actually fishes actually before they are basically quarantined. So actually between the fishes moving from your farm location to the quarantine location, you have a number of visits, right? So if there is any bacteria, any form of disease, anything that is there, all of that would have to be taken care of before it is moved. Now, actually, between actually transportation and actually place at the quarantine actually facility, it would have to be there actually to be treated before it is actually packaged for shipment. No, this is a facility, you would have to finance that quarantine area yourself.
Right. Okay. So there's no big facility, there's no general facility for everyone. Everybody would have to do their quarantine.
There is actually not a general facility for everyone as far as I know. I know that the Exporters Association at the ornamental fish farm area, and they were doing it themselves. They had a number of farmers that they were actually taking fish from, that they actually gave actually fishes actually to rear. But as in a era where any small farmer could take his or her fish actually too, we don't have that actually set up locally. Okay. So it's therefore all of that you would actually basically have to finance all of that, right? So it's therefore the farmer trying to export. By that means, it is a hefty cost for a single farmer.
So there is a need for a financed center for the fish farmers to deposit their fish on a weekly basis for quarantining, treatment, and such before shipments can happen.
Right. So that whole idea of actually quarantine, treatment, proper packaging for actually export is not here. Right. If you're entering into the market, you yourself would have to facilitate all of that actually procedure. So that is why I said earlier that it actually would really take an effort from the farmers, from actually government, and actually from the private sector to assist this industry to actually get where it needs actually to go to impact the export market effectively and consistently.
Right. So how many farmers do you think there are currently in Jamaica, or at least over the years? I know they have received several trainings over the years. So I know the knowledge is there, as we said. I know the ministry has a knowledge. I know I've been down there several times giving trainings. So you would say that the knowledge is there, correct?
Correct. Knowledge is here. And actually one of the things I and actually where I actually speak actually from, I actually speak in regards to majority of the smaller farmers. I'm actually speaking like it's the persons who actually rear actually their fishes in old refrigerators.
Wow.
They use recycled items to rear actually fishes. I'm actually speaking to some individuals who they classify as ghetto youths. Very they are very creative in some ways in which they go about rearing fish. And actually a number of things that I have learned also I learned from them also too, because they are very practical in what they do and they achieve a lot via just using recycled items.
Wow.
So these individuals over the years, they gain assistance through various donor agencies. And there was a lot of farmers like in Waterhouse, actually, say, for instance. I knew of quite a number of actually farmers in Waterhouse.
Right.
And over a period of time, I guess they did not see the need actually because they were not getting back the actual type of financial actually support to take care of their daily needs.
I see.
Because majority of what they were doing were being basically consumed by the local market, and it was not consistent and it was not in large quantities. So it's therefore their earnability was low, right? And they have their actual personal needs, their personal expenses to basically take care of. So these are actually a couple of the hindrances, actually, because actually Jamaica per parish would not be able to take off everything from which actually farmers actually produce.
I see.
So
Okay.
so there is knowledge here. There are individuals here, but it is a very expensive actually hobby. And from once you get into ornamental fish, you really can lose a lot of money if you're not careful, right? So I guess those are actually some of the things that always actually causes the persons actually to sway away actually from the industry, because we don't have that marketing aspect to the industry. And I guess there is where we are failing, the marketing aspect to the industry.
What about the energy costs? Is there a significant cost to, do you run pumps, for water, for light? Is there a significant cost to that for a small farmer? Can you do it without all of, can you be more innovative, not to use too much electricity? Is that possible?
Well, it is actually possible. Say actually, for instance, I actually basically have an 8 watt actually system actually set up. It's actually basically 10, right? I use a single actually pump to actually run that is the system, right? Actually, so I actually pump is back is the water, but I gravity feed back the water. So I use one single pump on that system. Okay. Of lately, I've been going through actually my lights, my electricity bill, to actually see exactly the impact on it. And it is like per month, it is over $10,000 per month.
Okay.
For that single pump.
Wow. That's 10,000 Jamaican
right? So this is 10,000 Jamaican dollars. Maybe the dollar is $150. So maybe it would work out to less than 100 US. Okay. Right? So it's therefore that energy cost on a single pump, and I'm actually not just speaking about air blower, and I'm not actually speaking of your general actually light, your water, or your feed, right? So actually just the energy bill is actually high. I think one of the things we need is we need to actually invest in actually solar, actually, because this would significantly help as to how we actually minimize our input actually cost, because the general cost to actually run your pump, run your blowers, and do all of that is really very high. So a lot of persons are creative in what they do. So actually they would use a lot of plants. They would not run actually pumps, and actually they would use a lot of plants, live actually plants, for filtration, right? So actually they would run their actually pumps like in the evenings, in the nights.
Right.
They actually would run their actually pumps. So actually they would not run it consistently throughout the day. All right. So these are actually some of the things, and it all boils down to how your system is actually designed.
Right.
That will
That's very important. Yeah.
allow you to use a single pump or actually two. So it actually boils actually down to a lot of factors as to what will actually drive your electricity costs.
No, that's really important. So the cost of electricity and feed, are you able to get feed? I mean, what's the cost of that? Are you importing? How do you get your feed?
Well, feed is not actually produced locally, so all the feed is imported, right? That's one of the other areas we need to look into as to how we deal with our feed. I basically have to purchase from an importer. So I personally don't import. I purchase from actually someone who imports, right? So actually the cost per unit for the feed actually based on I'm not actually using the volume, right? I have to purchase from that individual, which is actually very expensive. The latest cost for a bag of feed was like a 50 pound. It was like $20,000 thereabout.
Wow.
Right? So if a small farmer does not have the $20,000 all at once, he would have to basically actually go to a actually pet store or even a farm store. And then now the cost will go up again actually, because he would be buying a pound or maybe 2 pounds or maybe 3 pounds at actually any given actually. So therefore this will drive up his actually cost as well, actually, because he actually basically would actually find himself actually buying a pound for $2,500 or $3,000, and at the end of the day, this is actually going to drive up his cost way up. Right? So there are issues where feed actually production is actually concerned. One of the things I actually do, and actually other farmers actually do to actually substitute feed, is actually that we grow a lot of daphnias. We actually grow a lot of live foods. We try our best not to culture mosquito larvae, but actually to find actually the areas where they are breeding and actually collect them.
Yeah, that's a better idea.
Right. So actually I actually basically make my food as well. I actually make a greater portion of the food I use.
Actually, really? That's what I was going to ask you. Very good.
Yes.
I was going to ask you about that. Yes.
Yes. I over the years I've actually came up with a formulation for a recipe actually for my gold actually fishes, and I realized it has worked excellent with this of them. So the issue of bloating actually that I used to experience a lot, I don't experience it any longer, right?
Wow.
Actually, because all of the food actually that I do for my gold fishes, all of the food actually that I feed, I make that food. All right. So these are actually some of the things that there are some actually small farmers who do, some don't, right? But for me, that's actually some of the things that I do to substitute feed, right? And to drive down my cost of buying this large actually portion of commercial feed.
Right. That's one of the classes that I used to teach, how to make your own feeds using local ingredients. And I think that's a great spin-off. You know, when we talk about trying to find businesses or, you know, income making businesses, it's a spin-off where people can actually maybe start growing, backyard growing some of the ingredients that can be used to make your own feed at home, because it's very possible to do that with ornamental fish and get the results that you require, and you know, offset some of that commercial feed coming in. So that's, you know, innovation is something that, you know, this industry in itself could probably provide jobs for other people if, you know, kind of put it out there, growth, backyard grow, you know, well, in lockdown, during lockdown, that brings some ingredients.
Yeah.
And you can make it and share it and sell it.
Yes. And actually, since it's we are actually discussing the whole idea of actually feeds, actually one of the things I've been recently researching is how to get a pelletizer. Actually, that I could actually break down this actually feed actually component into actually pellets. Actually, maybe I saw how I actually can commercially sell it back to other small farmers.
Right.
Actually, so I'm actually in the process of actually working out. I actually know that at some actually point I'll need the help of others who are more savvy in that field.
Who are listening. We are talking about investment and technical help in trying to obtain a pelletizer for Lancelot to make fish feeds in Jamaica. A shout out.
Yes. And so actually these are actually some of the things actually that I actually think is that will help to actually boost the whole idea of the industry. Actually, one of the things I've also always shared actually with other smallest farmers is actually that as much as you actually can, try actually not to actually go into fishes actually that are actually straight omnivorous. All right, or because when you actually go carnivorous actually fishes, actually it limits us to all omnivorous are actually much better. Sorry about that. Actually, but
so you're saying don't limit to the fish that will require a lot of fish meal or other animal meals. You try to aim towards a fish that use more plant-based ingredients.
Based. So the actually herbivorous and the omnivorous are actually much better to actually start with, because you will actually find yourself growing a lot of these ingredients or growing a lot of the things that the fishes will naturally feed on. Right. And actually this actually would actually kind of limit your food actually purchasing. So actually, these are actually some of the aspects as to how we understand the whole idea of ornamental fish actually rearing. If actually we don't understand how to culture actually foods, you're going to be in problems. You're going to be in problems at some, at actually some is the point, because all our foods are imported.
Right. What about treatments? Are you able to get treatments, or do you, the knowledge for treatments, when I always say prevention is better than cure, but if you are to see and you understand how to diagnose the fish, what the problems are you able to treat the fish yourself? Are you able to get like technical help? Are there any vets that can help you if you need, like disease diagnostics or anything like that?
Well, from the vet area, I don't know directly, so I could not speak actually to that aspect. But what I know from most actually smallest farmers is actually that a farmer will call another farmer, or a farmer will actually rely on another farmer for info. As basically for me, there are actually two actually diseases I've always actually battled actually with, and I've actually slowly come to understand it and actually work around it. Bloating actually was one, and actually icks actually was actually one. And actually how I realized actually that I was having a lot of ick, it is actually that I was growing a lot of plants from various areas, right? So my sourcing as to how I was actually taking in actually plants, I was basically actually what I was doing, I was having actually disease actually transfer. So as where a vet is actually concerned, say actually you actually could actually go down and sit to the RADA office and actually ask actually for a vet. I don't know of that, right? From the veterinary services actually division, I know that there are vets that assist you where ornamental fish is actually concerned, right? But those vets are all the way in actually Kingston, which is miles away, right? But in our local area here, we don't have any. All right. So most of the information is basically garnered through actually research, through information from other farmers, and that's how majority of the folks get their information. But for me, I'm practicing preventative measures consistently.
Right.
Because I've lost hundreds of fish actually to actually disease already. So I've really paid hefty actual price on the whole idea of actually disease and actually disease actually prevention. I don't use any form of actually chemicals. The most actually chemical I use is charcoal.
Oh wow!
That's the highest grade of chemical I use.
Very
right?
Good. Yeah.
It is actually charcoal, or some of the times I'll use actually coarse salt. But apart from those, I don't use any of the heavy actually chemicals, right? Actually, because one of the things I also actually practice actually too as well is that I always use my own actually beneficial bacteria to actually prepare my water. So it's therefore I actually go through a process of cycling my water properly, and I just do actually general actually simple actually water testing actually via strips, right?
Right.
So I don't really delve in the heavy actually chemicals. I just try my best to be vigilant and always look on actually my actually fishes. I actually spend a lot of time actually noticing. So as actually soon as I see actually one, I always actually remove and actually quarantine, or I actually basically cut off actually that actually that aquarium from the entire system. So I think actually preventative measures it is a better way to go rather
Absolutely.
than
Absolutely. Because once you have it
allowing
in the
your
system,
system
it's
to
so
be
hard to get
infected.
out. Yeah.
Yes, from once it's in, it is hard, right? I have I have I have actually found this myself in the past already. Just getting rid of fishes,
Wow.
just killing all of them to
Right.
just get rid of it,
Right.
right? Because it was just continually spiraling. It didn't matter what I did. I actually purchased chemicals, and I tried it over a 14-day process. I did it. Actually removed all of the coal out of my system, and I used it, and it just did
Didn't.
not help.
Right.
So I just got rid of everything,
Because
right?
all you end up doing is
So
wasting it, not only wasting money with the chemicals, but we're, the environmental aspects. So the cost is great for both areas. So the best thing to do, like you said, good management practices, you know, record keeping an eye out every day, water quality changes and testing. Just all of those, things can help prevent disease and, wasting your money.
and I'm glad you actually touched on it. Because one of the things that a lot of small farmers don't practice is record keeping. And they shy away, and them actually think that they actually can remember everything.
No,
But they don't,
no.
right? And they shy away from record keeping. And actually, this is actually one of the things that if you as a actually small farmer looking actually to go large, you're going to need some form
You
of
have to.
records as um to your actually outputs
Yes,
there in
what is going in, what is going out.
what
You
is
have to
actually going on,
understand. Exactly. Yeah.
right? So actually we have to understand that record keeping is a key component in the business as well.
Right. One of the questions you were telling me before I forget is that you were talking about breeding, that the quality of the goldfish, they were losing their quality and it was difficult in getting broodstock from sellers. So can you tell me a little bit more about this problem of trying to get broodstock? Do you recall?
All right. One of the this is actually one of my little pet peeves,
Right, right.
um, where you're getting broodstock from overseas. A lot of times you're not getting it from trusted individuals. So I said, therefore, you would actually get a brood stock, and it actually takes forever for them actually to breed. Actually, some of the time, actually, you actually get to see some of the fish, they are basically actually sterile,
Wow.
right? Um, 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 so, so it's therefore, if you're not able to travel overseas
To
and
see for
meet with and
yourself.
go on a farm and see for yourself, you
Hmm.
always end up at the back end. So you always actually get actually some of the fishes
Mhm.
that are not quality enough to actually build a actually consistent breeding program from. So actually these are actually some of the hindrances also to the linkages and the trustworthiness of where you're getting your brood stock from. So it's therefore a lot of the smaller farmers now would just purchase from other farmers. So actually they actually just continue to breed down actually the line.
I
So
see.
actually most of uh, the actually fishes is actually just farmers from another farmer.
Mhm.
Another key actually thing I want to speak up is that as Jamaican farmers, we don't practice actually what is known as actually culling, right?
Culling.
Everything we sell, everything
Oh,
we put on the
okay.
market.
Okay.
We don't actually go
Culling
through,
means you need to go through and pick out the
need to
ones
go
that,
through and actually separate the quality fishes, and you deal with those, right? To get rid of those actually that are not of that actually standard, that are not of a goldfish quality, right? You will always have actually fishes, actually, because actually based on their large volume, you will always have actually fishes actually that are actually deformed, or they are not shaped actually properly. So we don't practice actually that. We just breed everything and we put everything on at the market. Now, if you're not aware, or if you're not knowledgeable as to how this fish actually should look and the characteristics of this actually fish, you would just purchase it and then rebreed it again. So therefore,
yeah.
Right. So it's therefore no, the quality of the fish just continue to deteriorate. So these are actually some of the challenges actually that is actually faced actually locally, because a lot of the times I would actually visit a pet shop, and actually when I actually look at the fishes, I say, no man, you know, and they are still being sold in our pet shops.
Somebody will find it. Yeah, somebody will buy it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so actually I actually look and I learn a lot from the Singaporean actually breeders, and actually what is it they actually practice consistently is culling. So they always ensure that they have the best quality consistently. And if we're going to impact export market, we have to ensure that we have the best quality consistently. So therefore, we have to start practice culling.
There's another part of the sector that I see the solution there again for other businesses, income making, is for a group of farmers to actually be breeders, just breeders. You know, instead of you having to go abroad and buy the fish, if it can be done locally, then that would just cut out that whole market of having to go overseas, and you just have it there. So you need that kind of, you know, like compartmentalize the industry. Somebody breeds, be the breeder, somebody does one type of fish, a couple types of fish, you know, that kind of thinking is probably needed to, you know, come together and make this decision of who is going to do what for a collective kind of, you know, impact on the industry itself. I mean, you know, that's just a thought.
It's from I participated in the training aspect with the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. This was actually one of the things actually that was continually spoken about. It is best that not a single individual be a rearer and a breeder at the same
time.
It would work out more profitable for you to pair yourself with someone who rears and you focus on breeding, right? One of the things in Jamaica is actually that we believe that there is not enough actually species of ornamental fish for us to breed.
So you need to breed everything.
One individual would want to breed 10, 20, 15 different actually species. And at the end of the day, their output is low.
Yeah, because you're putting all the resources, rather than putting the resources in one or two.
Exactly.
Not just spreading it much. Yeah.
Spreading it wide, and then at the end of the day, they are very thin, right? So the actual output is very low. Now, these are actually some of the challenges. Again, we go back to participation. How it's a Caribbean thing. How we are going to get to participate with each other. I pray every day about it, and I wonder when we are going to reach the point where we can work together.
Right.
All right.
The time is now.
The time is now. Supply that individual. Yeah.
The time is now. So before we run out of time, I wanted to ask you for what is the best part of fish farming for you? Like what makes you keep doing it?
What actually keeps me doing it is actually just to see the smiles on kids' actually faces, to see the joy that fish bring into a home. That actually, whenever I meet this with a customer and they explain to me, oh, them aquarium is so lovely and the joy that it gives them. Right? That is what keeps me doing ornament. Just whenever I give actually them a fish, say, here's a fish, try and rear this fish. This is what you do. It is like the world to them. And this is
Right.
what keeps me going, just to see the smile on their faces.
So and one last question. What is your dream for the industry, and how do you think audience can help in terms of more, I guess, investment, more interest, how to get ornamental fish in Jamaica? What's your dream?
My dream is actually that whenever donor agents they come, them try and find the grassroots people them and work with them. 90% of the time, the money spent at the top and the grassroots don't actually get it, and they are the one who needs it. That is one. My overall view is that one day I hope that Jamaica will be the premier export actually point for ornamental fish, will be the market to go to for ornamental fish, any variety at any time of the year. That is my dream for the industry. Seeing my other small farmers getting money in their actually pockets and seeing it profitable as a livelihood. They actually can pay their bills and actually support their family members. This is where I want ornamental fish industry to be.
And it's not a far-fetched dream. It really isn't. We just need to put some of the solutions together and have people work together. And like you said, like the donor industries, a lot of money has been put into the industry over the years. And it's time now that it really gets onto the ground to get what needs to be done. So thank you so much, Lancelot. This was really a very interesting conversation. And I hope we get more viewers watching and input. And let's really hope that this next couple of years are the years for the ornamental industry to start building while we're on the lockdown.
Yes.
So good luck.
While we're on the lockdown.
Yes. This is the time for the community to get together and have the conversation and
together.
Start growing those ingredients in the backyard and practicing how to make fish feed. So some little starting to make little things. So but thank you very much, Lancelot, and thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate it.